Hey everybody, it's me again. Yeah, I'm here to do my review, the second in my series for the review of Smallville for the second season. So it's my season 2 review of Smallville. So yeah, let me get into it. Let's see, but by saying that this season for me was, well, I think I had got more into character development more so than the previous season. So yeah, see more progression. They had less freak of the week stories, a little some less there's less filler in there than there was in season 1. So yeah, and then also we had Lionel Luthor becoming a series regular after Whitney left, even though Whitney came back for one episode, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, Lionel is a series regular, and we also see more of the conflict between him and Lex, and it becomes more heated and more contested, and everything with various different things. And especially true in say episodes Insurgents and Prodigal, which was very Luther centered episodes, which I thought were amazing, really well done episodes personally. And also we had more of the conflict of, let's see, Clark finding red kryptonite, which was a nice little touch, finding out that he has a dark side to him. He's not always this, Boy Scout, as it were. He does have a dark side to him, and that red kryptonite sort of brought it out in him, which was a really nice touch. He's like the bad boy with superpowers. That I thought was a nice touch. And then what else we got? Oh yeah, and some of the other characters, like say Pete, he got more to do this season. When he finds out Clark's secret, which originally was going to happen in season 1, but it's not for season 2. So and then Pete kind of came along with came along with Clark, like some of his physical adventures, and even Pete like mentioned, this Mission Impossible stuff is awesome in Lineage, and that like this mentioned CSI and Suspect, which is good stuff. So we had a nice little reference there. What else? Let's see. So we had like a little love triangle set up that I think was partially set up from last year with Clark, Chloe, and Lana, which Chloe's like the best friend, like the love of your life masquerading as your best friend, which how she put it in Fever. And Lana's like, this girl that he's just been like, he had the hots for, he had the hots for when Whitney was around, but then he left, and he was and whatnot. And then later it was revealed he's killed in battle since he went off and joined the military and everything. So he decided to take a shot with her, take a step up, take a shot. So yeah, a lot of progression with some of the characters, and a lot of we saw a lot of new changes, which I'll get into. Let's see, of course, Clark with the red kryptonite, and then we had, let's see, also a lot of one thing I really liked was the backstory between like Clark and his parents, and Lex and Lionel, and also the backstory set up like in the episode Lineage, which was a really good episode set up. We also see more of what happened on the day of the meteor shower. We actually find that there's Clark and Lex met and like had a connection long before, and that how their adoption came about, and that how in a sense Lionel was behind Clark's adoption, and that in order to keep that adoption secure and everything, Jonathan had in a sense had to like sell out one of his best friends to Lionel in order to keep it a secret, and pretty much Lionel has a foothold on Smallville, basically why the Luthors pretty much have a dominant presence in Smallville and everything, which is really nice touch. And then what else we got? Yeah, and then we'll get in, and then later we had Whitney come back, even though it turned out, when Whitney did come back, it was actually Tina Greer from last season, which was a nice touch, bringing her back. It was nice seeing her again and everything. In addition to some other character we saw from last time, Sheriff Ethan, who tried to kill Lionel, framing Jonathan. That was a nice little touch right there. But yeah, and then let's see what else we have. Yeah, also the conflict between the Luthors, which is evident between insurgents when Lionel like beat Lex out of a contract, and when he finds out he's been bugged, he's been wiretapped, and he decides to do things to Lionel, but it kind of backfires when everything with him and Martha, and also Martha gets a job with Lionel, and she wants to be her own independent person, and that causes a little rift between the parents. It's the perfect family home of the Kents. They got their rough patches, and show that, even though they're portrayed as the perfect wholesome family, but they had their rough patches. And what else? Let me but one thing I think was really amazing. I think for a lot of people is when they had none other than Legend himself, Christopher Reeve, guest star in the episode Rosetta. Since which was only fitting. Which I think was a really brilliant hour. Like the legend himself, like guest starred. Like and when him and Tom Welling were in that little back room, it was like a sort of passing of the torch moment, literally in every sense, like well figuratively in every sense of the word. Like he plays a character named Virgil Swan. He's this rich billionaire philanthropist slash scientist, and he like helps Clark discover where he's from, who he is, that he's from Krypton, and that his birth name is Kal-El, and everything. And then later on we also find out Meteor is really kryptonite with a K, I might add. Yeah, what else we got? Yeah, and also another thing was with a couple other things between Lex and Lana. Like Lana find out like her biological father Henry Small, which was a nice little touch. She's really like her family. She's really I guess from the Small line, and, Small of Smallville, the founder of Smallville and everything. So yeah, her finding out her real dad and wanting to know him and find out a sense of more family since her parents died, and her Aunt Nell ended up moving to Metropolis and she was wanted to stay here with her friends. She ended up living with Chloe and everything, which was interesting. Even though I guess we see Henry for a few like 5 episodes, and afterwards I guess we don't see him afterwards because he's got his own issues apparently with his current wife, and yeah, and I guess which I guess they want to set when they want to talk until they got their fair set in order, but for some reason they're not around again, which is later seasons. So I don't know. But another major thing was Lex getting married. He actually happened to did it twice. One was when a woman in the episode Heat, when Clark also not only discovered heat vision, but also a woman with pheromone powers was controlling him and manipulating him into marrying her so she could kill him and inherit his fortune. But that was followed by Clark, and also we had the form of Helen Bryce, whom a physician he meets at Smallville Medical, and where they have a little courtship and everything. Says marry and everything, and everything and all that. Everything and all that. We see the wedding, and we also see him trying to what looks like it can work. He has proven it the test. Getting and everything with the like when let's see with the conflicts between like Lionel trying to get in the way, and we also had the episode Precipice, which really like Lex was tempted to kill a man, and Helen stopped the thought of Helen kind of stopped him, and he showed progression. It was a nice little touch, and now sort of getting towards the end. The ending was amazing. Like the ending, the episode, I felt was a good with the episode called Exodus, which was a perfect title for the second. This is Exodus in so many ways. Like the end of the second season, which we had some things wrapped up. We also see here Jor-El, Clark's biological father, as a machine, voiced by Terrence Stamp, which was a nice little touch there. We finally see Jor-El. Clark gets to learn more about where he's from, and what Jor-El sent him to do, set out for him, wants him to begin his journey. Clark wants to be his own. Clark just wants to be Clark. He doesn't want to be everything. So he has to leave and everything. So Clark decides he's going to blow up his ship, and then that causes the miscarriage of Martha's baby. Martha actually got pregnant because of the ship that healed her from last season. But it turns out, after the accident, she was miscarried, and Clark had a refuge, feeling guilty, and decides he's going to leave, and puts on a red kryptonite ring, and just goes off, and then Chloe makes a deal with Lionel, which the beginning, which is we see more interaction between characters, like Lionel interacting with the rest of the main cast, Chloe even had a scene with Pete once, and everything. So yeah, and also between the Kents, showing how different they are as parents. One's loving, the other's one's loving and affectionate, gives them love and support, while the other takes the opposite track, is really cunning and very, kind of very much of a tyrant, really, and he always just plays mind games. I don't know if, who wants a parent like that? Lex, hey, in some sense, you can kind of understand why he kind of eventually became what he became, in some sense, in some sense, it's kind of sort of worked. comes from, you know, in a sense. Yeah, yeah. So it's like, what else yeah, and then a couple more things. I'll wrap up before I head to bed here. So a couple of things I'm trying to think what I can talk about. But yeah, overall, good season. I enjoyed it. You know, Exodus was a perfect title. Like you know, everything, like, you know, Clark leaving Smallville, and then we have into Metropolis, and when you have the Red Kryptonite Ring, Lex and Helen jetting off, and then which ends up with Lex getting married and everything. They end up jetting off, and then some later goes wrong, and you know, and it really leads up to the third season, the third season, which I'll talk about in my next review. But overall, good season, a lot of character development, a lot of surprises. Like one highlight, you know, more character development than last season. See Christopher Reeve and see Terrence Stamp even in addition to Durrell and everything. See more family conflict and everything. Really, overall, great season. Loved it. You know, yeah, good. Just enough said. You know. I mean, personally, it was kind of an improvement from last season. Last season was alright, but this kind of really just delve into it more. You know, really just gave us more. Season 2 really gave us more. So yeah. Yeah, well, that's it for me. I'll do the rest of my reviews when we look out for the next, for season 3, like, coming soon. Okay? Bye.